So I'm going to talk to you today about current trends in language assessment. And I say trends in language assessment, but really these are not exclusive to us in the Language Assessment and Referral Center. These are being experienced by many of you in your own programs and services that you offer. The two trends I'm going to focus on,
that's fantastic.
you like? Higher level clients and what we'll call citizenship clients. You'll notice I'm not talking specifically about CLARS. At the Y right now we're in a pre-CLARS world. So I'm going to talk to you about the pre-CLARS world. If there are some CLARS related questions afterwards, I think Chris and Murad from MCI and CIC would be able to address those. So many of you are familiar with what we do at the Y. I know many of you here, but there may be some people who aren't very familiar with our assessment center. So I'm going to start with some background info. So we've been funded by CIC since 1992. So we've been doing this for about 20 years. We assess permanent residents and convention refugees in English and French using CLB-based tools, so Canadian Language Benchmark-based tools. And we refer to federally funded training programs such as LINK. So on average, about 90% of our referrals are LINK. And then as well, ELT, OSLT, and CLIC, the French equivalent of LINK. We are a high-volume assessment center. We assess an average of approximately 19,000 clients per year, and we do that between our 4 sites. We have our downtown location where I'm based at around Yonge and College. There's also North Etobicoke, our Albion site, North York, and North Scarborough. We currently have as of yesterday, we have 25 assessors. We just hired 1 new part-time assessor. So we have full-time and part-time assessors that assess in English and we have 3 part-time French assessors, and the others are English assessors. And in addition, we have an administrative team that works with us. And we're also co-located with newcomer information centers. So when a client comes in for a language assessment or referral, they also often walk away with the bigger picture of what's available to them as a newcomer in Canada. Okay, so the first trend, and this came up, Penny, you mentioned this, higher level clients. So I hear this a lot at LIT meetings and other interactions I have with different service providers that we're all noticing a trend towards higher level clients. And so when we think of higher level clients, generally we're thinking of benchmarks 6 and over, or LINK level 6-7 clients. So the table here shows a distribution of LINK levels that we've assigned. So clients by LINK level that we've assigned at the Y for the last about 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. So when I looked at this, it was pretty interesting to me, and a visual came to mind. And I thought about showing this as a visual, and then I thought I might make you work for it a little bit more and tell me what you notice. Is there anything that stands out to you when you look at this data?
Level 7 bench, yeah, at 16%.
Yeah, right. So from 4% in 2008-2009 fiscal year to our most recent data is 16% of the clients are being placed at a LINK level 7. And as well, the level 6. Anything else?
But with not a significant decrease in the, literacy is still 5 across. 13, 12.
But level 3.
The only one is 3 that's 2% lower, but.
So what I saw here when I looked at this is in this year, you get a bell curve where you have literacy at 6% going up to level 3 and then level 7 down at 4%. Now it would be more of a straight line. With the exception of literacy, we've got 12, 12, 15, 12. It's more or less equal proportions of LINK clients. And this also, it fits very well with my experience as an assessor. I have been with the assessment center since 2006, and I can remember very often going level 3, level 3. It was a very common level to assign. And nowadays, what you hear a lot in the assessment center is assessors saying, I'm seeing a lot of higher level clients. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So the eligibility hasn't. The Canadian experience class, yes. Work permits, no. Yeah, so the eligibility criteria hasn't changed in this time period.
Just the other thing to note is the landing data tells us that typically 30% of all immigrants, which is about 250,000 coming to Canada, speak neither English nor French based on what they've identified. And about 60% identify speaking some English or some French. And only 10% identify, again, self-identify, speak English or French well. So you've got 90% of all immigrants could be part of this group.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are some of the implications of this? So we're finding, as an assessment center, we're finding that client referral needs are changing. So in the past, where you might have had more straightforward, client goes into a link service provider, comes to us, gets referred to us for an assessment, and then, okay, you're level 3, back to the link service provider. We're now seeing a lot of clients coming in who are assessed at higher levels, so they might have benchmarks of 8, 8, 8, 8 in all 4 skills, and they're saying, okay, what can I do with this now? They want more options, they want to know what's out there for them. And there are more options. There are more ELT and OSLT programs out there for them. And we're noticing that there's a large percentage of the waitlisted clients in Toronto are now at level 6 and 7. I wasn't able to get waitlist data from 2008 because it doesn't exist essentially. But I mean, again, just based on my experience, I can remember when level 6 and 7 came out. If you had a client who was a level 6 or 7 and you assessed them, you just put them right in the class. It was relatively easy. And now there's 277, as of last week, 277 clients waiting for 6, 7 classes. I also think that there could be a connection here between the higher level English speakers and the increased demand we're seeing for French assessments. So French assessments came up, I know, in this group earlier. So far in this fiscal year, we've done 120 BTC, that's the French assessment tool, BTC assessments. In the fiscal year before, we had done 51. So it's still, I mean, as part of our 19,000, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's, what did I want to say about this? It's, because as many of you might know, a client would need to choose either a French or English stream. Many clients are saying, my English skills are high enough, I don't want to study English. I fully understand that if I am assessed for the CLIC program and I go and study French, I cannot do any OSLT link or anything later. They say, I'm fully aware of that, and I don't want to work on my English now, I want to work on my French. So I think there's a connection between that as well. And then this trend is also connected to the other trend, which is what we'll call citizenship clients. So this came up also in the discussion earlier. So citizenship clients, so in November 1st, 2012, as many of you know, some changes took effect, and applicants for Canadian citizenship now need to prove their language skills in English or French to be at a benchmark 4 or equivalent or higher in listening and speaking. So this was a big change for us because we found an increased volume of clients coming in and saying, I want to be assessed, I want to apply for Canadian citizenship. And so we were feeling like there was an increase in volume. We weren't sure if we could necessarily attribute that to citizenship clients. So in December of 2012, we started tracking clients who identified themselves as citizenship clients. And I'm going to give you the data for January because that's the only full month that we've had to look at so far. So we had 211 citizenship clients, or 11% of our total assessment volume is for that, people being assessed for that purpose. As was mentioned, our assessment is not accepted, but we are one step in the process, in that many clients choose to be assessed by our assessment center, enroll in a link class, and then use that certificate to apply for citizenship. Also, as was mentioned here, the intake process with clients has become more detailed. So the demographics I'm finding with citizenship clients are a little bit different, and a lot of these clients have been in Canada for a long time. They may not be familiar at all with the LINK program, with the assessment center. They're really not part of that world at all, and they're coming in and saying, so I have to do this test, what do I need to do, you know, and they really are looking for guidance from us. And as I mentioned, we believe that this is caused an increase in volume of clients. So January 2013 was our second highest January in 20 years in terms of assessment volume, and a 27% increase in clients, number of clients assessed from January last year. Again, this is what we believe. It's not necessarily the case, but it's easy to make that connection, I think. And then the last point is just something that I personally found interesting, was that I started seeing more and more clients coming in whose first language was English and wanted to be assessed in English to go to the LINK program so that they could get a certificate to apply for citizenship. So I thought, I wonder if this is just my own perception or if there is actually an increase. So I pulled some data, and in fact, so since November 1st, when the changes took effect to last week, we had 63 native English speakers assessed in English, so this excludes for French assessment, compared to the same time period last year, 43. So it's a jump. Again, it's a small number compared to 19,000, but you know, I personally found it interesting because I've had a few clients recently who, recently I worked with a client from Trinidad. She'd been here since 1974. Her post-secondary education was all done in Canada. She said, I don't want to pay to get transcripts. This is the best option for me because it's free, so I'm going to go with this option. And she went to a LINK class at a high level, of course, so connecting again with the 6-7.